Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Heretic Shadow of the Serpent Riders. Now, before we get into it, a disclaimer. Now, with these videos, I make so many of them in advance, and I have, of me making this one, I have the first couple maps of Episode 2 done, and I'm ready to go into Episode 2, Map 3, but anyway, thanks to mostly an error on my behalf, I lost the footage that I lost the video I had made for this map. So, sorry about that. So, main reason why I want to point that out is because the game footage from the last video, from the one before this and the one after, there's going to be some discrepancies, some differences between health and armor totals and what's in the inventory. So, now you know why. So anyway, this is the secret map of Episode 1, The Graveyard. Enjoy! Alright, starting off in the graveyard, we'll be back against the wall in this darker area of the graveyard. The graveyard. Our green door is off in the distance with a quartz flask by it. There's a bomb up those stairs, a number of crystal vials around us. A little bit of ammo. There's a claw orb there, some wand crystals. So you gotta wonder, how do we go about starting this one? Well, basically you can either go up the stairs to kind of move forward a bit, or just do this kind of straight over. If you move far enough ahead or far enough to the left or right, the enemies will spot you and they'll start attacking and moving and stuff. The enemies we gotta deal with in this area right here are a number of undead warrior ghosts. 12 to be exact. We've seen undead warrior ghosts before, but not this many. At least not at once. So, right out of the gates, you can see how dangerous, you can probably guess how dangerous this level's gonna be. As you see there, just like before, they throw nothing but red axes, which means they get a critical hit every single time. In other words, they're packing loaded dice, getting a nat 20 every single roll. I don't think that's fair. Just saying. Yeah, getting a critical hit every single time. Hacks! Gravity cat not amused. So, as you saw how I took these guys down, the trick is to get their attention and then let them wander over to you. Basically, while I'm down here, I wait for them to get out to their out to this area, and then I just start shooting them, taking them down from a distance and strafing left and right to avoid their attacks. Just like that. There's another one. There. Ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Another one. There he is. While I'm taking care of these guys. Okay, that one's down. Okay, we got the remaining 5. Same deal, just strafe to avoid their attacks. But anyway, while I'm taking care of these guys, I can pick up a talking point I mentioned at the end of our adventure through the Citadel. Ow! I gave some commentary about this game's music. So much for not taking damage. And I had some positive things to say. I still do. I like the game's music tracks. Yeah, the music in this game was done by Kevin Schilder, and they were going for kind of a fantasy style music, which I think they accomplished. But the thing is, as you'll hear from some of the other music tracks as we get later in the game, there are some notable exceptions to that. Mainly just, this one was very synthesized choir heavy. This track is more percussion heavy. There's a number of other ones that are like that. They're more percussion heavy. But anyway, yeah, get the egg out of that group of bombs, and the quartz flask back here by the grave marker. Health and ammo all around if you need it. Shield if you need it. Gauntlets are there if you need those. But yeah, this one kind of comes off as somewhat tribal sounding for me. You got the heavy use of that synthesized guitar, and then the timpani, the drums and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those, it gets you kind of pumped up, ready to go. That's kind of a nice touch. But yeah, I have my Dragon Claw up because I'm kind of low on arrows. The thing is, as I come up the staircase, I'm strafing over because of those enemies up ahead. As you can see, we got a big square building right there, our blue door, one on each of the 4 outer walls of that building. And by each of the blue doors, there's a group of Nitro Golem and Golem Ghosts. Take them down in any manner. And just, yeah, take them down, move ahead to the next group. In the case of the Nitro Golems, strafing is pretty much the best thing he can do. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna do my arrow count here. Go ahead and use my crossbow to take these guys down. There we go. Go ahead and get full arrows. There. Alright. Now that we've got all those guys taken care of, we build our way back to the stairs. So now we just gotta go over to this door. Now I turn straight to the left. Nitro Golem Ghost. Take him down, and then note that guy there. Yeah, pillar with the Tomo power on top. Nitro Golem Ghost behind the pillar. Just take care of him. Yellow key and then switch. The claw orbs, get the yellow key. Press the switch. That'll lower the pillar. Once you get the Tomo power, that bit of wall back there lowers with those 2 disciples of Despairl. Take them down. In this particular area, they're not so bad because you got that big area you can strafe back and forth. They're down here just kind of flying around, and yeah, they don't have anywhere to hide. Quite nice. Anyway, you get the flask and the arrows from this room, this little area. As you notice there, sometimes disciples will drop claw orbs, and if you're fortunate enough, they'll drop a tome of power. Anyway, open that part of the wall for a secret with a bag of holding. We've got everything in there, so just get that. Now we gotta go back to our yellow door. Whee! I took the long way. Oh well. Back of the yellow door. Look at that. Gotta open the door. The moment you open the door, that'll alert everyone. So now, inside there, basically the yellow door is a big square room. Then there's a center section that's also a square. A number of platforms laid out like a checkerboard. There's a blue and red checkerboard pattern. And in the middle of that is a small room. It's a room within a room. So, now, I'm going to kind of do what I've been doing, where I'm just standing back and strafing. For these guys, I'm getting them from a distance. Yeah, just standing. I open the door and just strafe back and forth. Yeah. There's a number of fire gargoyles flying around the room, and then there's a bunch of Nitro Golem ghosts perched in that center section. I have 4 flasks, so yeah. I'm alright there, and then I've got a number of crystal vials around me that I can pick up if needed. That guy. Let's just go for it. Run on in here, run around the outer section. You could do this right from the start, where you just run in and run around the outer perimeter, run around the perimeter of the room here. But the thing is, I don't really recommend doing that with all of them still alive, because you're probably going to wind up getting shot in the back or something. So you can try it, and if you find that to work for you, go right ahead and use that. Just be aware of the risk. a good trick is run around one way. Basically, as you're running along, shoot at them, keep on moving. Keep running, don't just walk, otherwise you're going to take some damage. Once you get enough of them down, you can start actually getting on those platforms. You can see the checkerboard over there. And you can actually just get up close and personal, kind of take them down like that. As you saw, I kind of did that right there. Now I'm just kind of going... Yeah, there's another one down. Alright, there's another one down. And then turn around and go back the other way, and just repeat the pattern until they're all down. Just be careful of that, where you end up getting boxed in. Let me tell you, getting boxed in an area like that, you got these kinds of enemies, that's never a good thing. And what I tell you, such wonderful chaos this room has for us. Later maps will top that. I'm up to 6 flasks, so don't worry. Thing is, I'm gonna just rely on using my supply of those crystal vials, and leave my flask just in case, you know. I can actually go ahead and switch to my Dragon Claw. Is that guy dead? Actually? I think I actually killed him already. Oh, there's a pleasant surprise. So now what we gotta do, we gotta press the switch that we've been avoiding. And now you probably got a glimpse of it there. There's the small room I mentioned. Yeah, a room within a room. Once that Nitro Golem Ghost is dead, you can jump on in here. Quartz flask number 7 in our possession right now. And a green key. So yeah, then this will come back up and we'll cover that. And then you've got the checkerboard. It's actually quite nice. Full ammo on our Dragon Claw. I think there's still a number of crystal vials around, so I'm gonna pick up what I can. Yeah, that's actually kind of nice. I still had quite a few of those. I'll just get myself back to full health. And I still have 7 flasks. So now, it's time to take on the green door. Just like before, I'm going to open the door, let the enemies see me, and shoot them from outside. Since it's just a number of fire gargoyles and regular gargoyles, I'm going to... Yeah, it's just a number of gargoyles, so typically they'll fly toward you, but in any case, you can still take them down. I still prefer just taking them down from outside the door, because you don't have a lot of room to kind of maneuver yourself up there. More gargoyles lie behind in the distance. Yep. Let them notice you and just do the same as before. Yep. They noticed me, so I'm just gonna run back out here, strafe a bit. Look at all those that are still there. Alright, all those gargoyles are down. Save for one, apparently. Yep, 2. Okay, it looks like there's another one back there. Okay, yeah, you heard the cry of some golems. What we got there? Be aware of this wall, a little bit of wall. And... okay, all that stuff. In the distance, yeah. Those are nitro golems firing at us through the wall. I'm just gonna put up a torch so I can sort of gauge where they're coming from. They're at, yeah, that's actually an invisible wall up there. So I don't know if I'm hitting them or not. Well, I got that one. There's 3, I believe. Let's get back up here. Okay. Okay, I got a second one out of there. Shadow Sphere for ya. Total power in the window. Switch. We'll get to it. Crossbow and some arrows. They're there if you need them. That switch is actually what opens that wall up there, so we'll get to that in a moment. Two of those golems are dead. So now, let's hit the switch. And there's some vials. I already grabbed the torch that was in this area. And subsequently used it because I like being able to see. So now come in here. I'll pick that up. There's our blue key, and then we got these little alcoves. Then there's one behind the blue key. So what you gotta do, what I prefer doing, turn around and then go backwards past that and immediately run out. Because those 2 alcoves, that is our reward. nasty trap. Very, very nasty. Yep. There's the left and the right. The same is true for all these side areas. There's an undead warrior ghost in each of them, and then there's some items. Ring of Invincibility and a claw orb, that's what's in this pair. And the pattern will continue, you know, run past, run out, run past, run out. But alternatively, you could be really, really brave, you could be really, really risky. Run up there to the blue key, grab the key, and then run all the way out. But the thing is, you probably aren't going to make it very far because you run past and basically you'll get hit from behind. So yeah, this is a pretty nasty trap and you just gotta be clever with it. Again, they give you that ring of invincibility, so alternatively, you could put up the ring, run forward, grab the key, and kill all the enemies that are revealed while the ring is still active. So, at the very least, you have that, so that's easily a viable option. So, just get the next set of rooms. This isn't bad with having them. You know, the trap placement is kind of, you know, the first time. At first, you don't really expect that to happen, but then afterwards, you're aware. So there's a claw orb in each of those, and then again, claw orb. So now, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna back up to the blue key, but not actually pick up the key. Just do what I did before. The only thing is, when you get up to where the blue key is, infighting. Ow! That wasn't very nice. Oh dear. Yeah, anyway. That Nitro Golem. Yeah, the wall behind the blue key opens, and the Nitro Golem, as well as those other two that I killed before, that's where they come from. That should be everybody, right? Yeah, so I'll get the two claw orbs here. Blue key. This is a secret with some ammo, a vial, a pair of wings, and look. Yep, this is where those guys were shooting us from before. So with our blue key, I'm going to actually see if I can find a little bit more health. I'm gonna grab as much health as I can from here, and then... Okay. Let's see, probably no more there. I can go back and get that Dragon Claw. There it is, right where I left it. There's one. Alright. Open the door. And a number of enemies will file out. There's just a number of gargoyles and golems. Naturally, the golems are of the spirit variety. A fire gargoyle is directly behind each of the blue doors. And then there are some golems just wandering around inside there. So... so far, there's been a golem ghost and a fire gargoyle on each side of the room. So basically 4 and 4. Yeah, the golems will come down the stairs from in that middle part, and then the gargoyles will be right out here. So now step into the room and go around the outer perimeter. And each of the 4 corners is a time bomb of the ancients. So there's 4 time bombs that we don't really need. And this is where, this center area is where the golems were. Now, look at our inventory. Yeah, how about that? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself some health back, and then going to switch to my crossbow, put on my ring, hit the switch, and then power up my weapon. When you hit the switch, it'll lower the a bit of wall in the 4 corners, so then you can go in there. But inside each of those 4 segments, golem and nitro golem ghosts. Be aware that the map scrolls in this one. I hear him. There's one more. Where is he? You are sneaky. You are very, very sneaky. We are done here. We have everything, so let's just go. Whee! Yeah, the switch lowered all these parts, and then stepping inside any of them will lower the wall with our teleporter inside. Pretty cool. So, let's just get out of here. 113 kills, 19 items, 2 secrets. Quite a few things in here. Now, what to say about this map? Well, I already talked a little bit about the music. I like the music. I like the level, you know, the kind of setting they're going for. It's a graveyard, so pretty much everything you fight is going to be a spirit. Pretty clever. The thing is, you see that kill count, 113. It's not really as bad as before. I mean, it's a lot, but the thing is, what makes this level dangerous, it's the enemy type. All those undead warrior ghosts, and then all the nitro golem ghosts, the fire gargoyles. Yeah, that yellow door section especially. I mean, that was crazy. That was really crazy. But you saw how I dealt with it. That's one of the better ways, in my experience, of taking it down. But feel free to use whatever strategy works for you. Yeah, I believe that wraps things up here, so let's see where we're headed to next. The crypts. So we're going from one kind of a graveyard to another. That looks like we're right by the cathedral. So, let's check it out. Looks good. Alright, so next time we'll be taking this area on, seeing what's in here. Yep, that's what we'll be doing next time on Heretic Shadow of the Serpent Riders. So until then, this is Advocate of Pants, signing off.